Hello, welcome to the iMEDIA Loop Frame by Frame. My name is Depante and I am the Animation Director for iMEDIA. Today, I will be sharing with you all my knowledge on animation. Well, my knowledge so far at least. First off, let's start off with the definition of animation. What is animation? Animation is a manipulation of successive images or drawings to create the illusion of movement. It can be 2D, 3D, stop motion, and etc. But for now, I will be using 2D animation specifically as it is the one I have the most experience with. These small exercises can help your overall draftsmanship and speed when animating. If you are curious about where I am getting this information from, I have a book which greatly helped me in my everything about animation. It's called The Animator Survival Kit, written by Richard Williams, the director of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You can buy the thing on Shopee, or you can get a digital copy. Just look it up. I can provide you with a link to where I bought this thing, and hopefully it will be of great use to you as it is to me. You don't really need to learn how to draw in order to animate, since there are alternatives like 3D animation, rigged animation, and stop motion animation. These ones don't really require you to draw, since all you need to do is to make the puppet move around, unless you're making the actual puppet. Knowing how to draw, at least, helps a lot. Improving your visual library will help in making your animation look more dynamic and just visually attractive overall. So I suggest drawing at least 10 gesture drawings a day. You can time yourself so that you don't spend too much time on one drawing, or you can use a website that automatically cycles through several reference images for you. I'll provide you with the links in the description down below. It's very useful and I highly recommend it. These are my drawings for my elective subject. I'm not the best at it yet, but hopefully you get the gist of what you can do with it. We drew each other for this assignment and it was a lot of fun. If you don't have access to the internet, just drawing the people around you is more than enough for practice. And you can show it to them afterwards if you want to make a friend. And now for some actual animation. For today, we will be practicing the classic ball animation. Something a bit easier for the newcomers and a bit of a refresher for the ones with experience already. There are 12 principles of animation: squash and stretch, anticipation, staging, straight ahead action and pose to pose, follow through and overlap, slow in and slow out, arc, secondary actions, timing, exaggeration, solid drawing and appeal. But for this exercise, I will be focusing especially on squash and stretch, pose to pose, slow in and slow out, and arcs. When I make a bouncing ball animation, I plan ahead first. Where did the ball come from? Where is it gonna land? How fast is it going? And what's the material made out of? To do this, I'm going to draw a path for the ball to follow using arcs. Using arcs in motions like these makes everything look smoother, even if it's just a handful of frames. After you're done laying out the path of the ball, it's time to plan out the timing. The less frames there are, the faster it will be, and the more frames there are, the slower it will be. To make the action more dynamic, we avoid evenly spacing out the frames. So instead, we go for something like this. This is what we call a slow in and slow out. Do you see the difference between the two? It's crazy, right? Another tip to keep things consistent is to draw from pose to pose. What I mean by that is that you should draw the most important frames first, the key frames, before drawing the in-betweens. The in-betweens are basically what you call the frames that are in between The keyframes. Pose to pose is when you draw every keyframe first before you draw the in-betweens. Straight ahead is when you draw every frame in succession. One isn't really better than the other since they both have their own uses. Pose to pose is used in character animations to keep sizes consistent, and straight ahead is used in special effects animations to keep things more dynamic and fluid looking, like fire, electricity, smoke, and etc. Since you're drawing a ball, I suggest you draw from pose to pose to keep its sizes consistent, or else you might end up with a bigger or smaller ball towards the end. You can draw your animation like this, but you can make it better by squashing and stretching. Before the ball lands, you can stretch the subject out like this before letting it squash as it hits the floor, so that we can feel the impact it has against the floor without having to pause on each frame. You can play around with the elasticity depending on what you want to animate. You can make it super stretchy like a rubber ball, or you can make it not squash and stretch at all like a bowling ball. But if you overdo it, you may end up with inconsistent sizes. So be sure that when the ball stretches, it goes a bit thinner, and when it squashes, it goes a bit wider. Now with all the principles in its place, you have here your bouncing ball. I drew out extra animations for you guys. Not one, but several that avoids all the advice that I spoke of here. See how this one moves so statically and robotically? For this one, I didn't use timing and the slow in and slow out principle. For this one, I used the straight ahead animation, so the sizing is inconsistent. But hey, it moves. So don't let anything hold you back. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Experiment. Go crazy with your art. And if you do try out the exercises I handed out, why not share them with us? You can post them in the comments down below. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Animo lasal.